getting cold feet, because I was reading something earlier. It was a post, and it was talking about buyers pulling out of contracts due to buyer remorse. And what that means is, because this market is so volatile, you're in a multiple offer situation. And so to win the offer, you have buyers going way over asking price for the property.
View with the boss's view. You gotta sacrifice. You wanna move like bosses move.
YMA, Young Millionaires Association.
All
Yeah, see,
right,
that's the
guys.
association.
Welcome to the YMA Nation podcast, episode number 75.
75, guys.
Real Estate Wednesday.
Yay.
I am Joe Wallace, and this is
Rebecca Wallace.
It is her show today, so I could kick back and just, I'll be engaged, involved.
Yeah, because we got part 2 to Are You Committed?
Part 2. If you're on right now, make sure you like, comment, and
Subscribe.
Let's get the subscriptions up. So if it's your first time and you have not subscribed to the YMA Nation channel, make sure you click that subscribe button
Right now.
Make sure you hashtag YMA Nation down in the comment section also. And also hashtag Let's Go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Down in the description also, you will see the hot new single, Let's Go. Make sure you click on the link to YouTube and check out the video.
All right.
All right. You know what I didn't say on Monday?
What?
Thank you to everyone that came out to support the event last Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, the Let's Go event. Thank you to everyone that came out to support the event, guys. Thank you. Wonderful event. All right, so today we're doing part 2. Are you committed?
Are you committed? We had a good conversation last Wednesday on this topic.
Yes.
So we got so involved we had to bring it back.
Bring it back.
So we were talking about basically being committed to the buying process, and we got kind of on a tangent on other things as well. But so I wanted to get back to, are you committed and what it takes to buying a home or selling a home. So we talked a lot about the buying side last week, but I didn't get to all of the points. So just to reiterate, we talked about, is your credit ready and are you committed to having your credit ready? So that was one of the major things that we talked about. And then the next thing is, and this is going to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about on Monday.
Okay.
Is, are your funds ready?
Are your funds ready? Do you got your moolah up?
Do you have your moolah up? And I said
she
it.
Go repeat it.
And I said it piggybacks off Monday because we just finished talking about unemployment and the pros and cons to the unemployment, being on unemployment and remaining on unemployment, right?
Right.
So how does that impact having your funds ready? Well, it's great that while you were on unemployment and getting your stimulus checks and you were able to save up more money, that's great for going into home buying. But what's not great about that is you aren't employed, so you can't get a loan. So
what do you mean?
You can't get a loan if you're not employed.
Well, I'm saying it because I know I'm saying,
yeah.
But like some people out there,
you
like,
can't get
what
a
does she
loan
mean?
if you're not employed.
What does she mean?
Yeah.
So explain it.
So if you're not working and you have sourceable income, meaning you have a job that pays you a paycheck, then they're not going to count unemployment as your income.
There it is, guys.
So you have to have your funds ready. So are you working? Are you getting a paycheck? And do you have some sort of savings or 401k? And what I thought was interesting on Monday is you were talking about people that have been furloughed or laid off and they're getting unemployment, and some of their employers, they're not getting those benefits of 401k that they were getting while they were employed. So now you've taken what you were saving up and could potentially use for purchasing your home, and you don't have that anymore because now you're furloughed and laid off and getting unemployment.
Right.
So the key is to maintain your job. If you are furloughed or laid off, then find something in that same area of work and get back to work, so that you have yourself in a financial position to be able to buy a house. The next thing is time. Now, I know that time is, sometimes you just, it's like there's not enough hours in the day, right? But when you're in this market and a lot of markets across the U.S. right now, in those markets, if a property hits the market today, you need to make that time to go see it today.
It's moving.
Right. So
they're moving the properties.
Right. And I'll give you an example. I've been working with a client for about a month now. We've put in 4 offers on 4 different properties, and all of them were multiple offer situations. And with the amount of buyers and offers that they were up against, they didn't win those offers. I mean, they were 5 to 10 offers on the table. So you have to be ahead of it if you can. A lot of times it's buy highest and best, so there's not really anything you can do about that. But the more you look and the more eager you are about looking for the property and looking at houses, even if it's after work, if it's before work, you have to allocate that time to actually find your house. Because, I had a client text me on a Tuesday and she's like, well, I can't go see the property until Sunday. Well, it's not going to be there on Sunday. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
You might as well scratch that one off your list.
There's a good chance that home will be under contract by then.
Right. So you have to have the time necessary to actually go find the property that you're looking for.
I was texting an agent today over in Charleston, for that deal.
Right.
And she said that property, it was Monday that the property went on the market. And today the property had 10 showings.
Wow.
10 showings. So, and yeah, 10 showings. So that will probably be under contract. It's probably under contract now. I don't know.
They may call for highest and best or something, right?
Well, I'm sure by tomorrow it's done.
Yeah.
Like 4 days. It's not even 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's done.
It's everywhere. Not everywhere, but it's in a lot of markets right now. I mean, it's just booming. Like, it's crazy. But that takes me into the next, with your funds, your time to find the property. Are you lender ready? And this kind of puts all of that together. Okay. So you're going to like this. So being lender ready means, number one, your credit has to be ready.
So when you tell them that their credit has to be ready, they need to be around what?
Over 580.
Okay.
For the best interest rates, over a 640, 620, 640. That means that your funds have to be ready, because the lender's going to verify your employment. They're going to verify how much you have in your bank. So your funds have to be ready. And once you find the property that you want and you put an offer and you go under contract, time is still of the essence, because lenders want everything yesterday. If you're buying,
like the paperwork,
like your paperwork, they're going to want your W-2s, your tax returns, your pay stubs. They're going to have documents for you to sign. You have to pay for your appraisal so they can order your appraisal. They have to, they're going to send you more documents to sign. They're going to ask you for additional documents.
They're going to ask you for the documents that you already sent.
They're going to ask you for the documents you already sent.
Multiple times.
If you sent your bank statement for March and April and you're going into May, you can almost guarantee they're going to ask you for a May bank statement. And guess what? If it takes 45 days to close and you go into June, guess what they're going to ask for? A June bank statement. And they're going to want it yesterday. As soon as that statement is available, they're going to want it.
I started off checking it every other week, just like most people do. Then it got out of control. I couldn't help myself. I started checking it day after day after day. I didn't realize that I was becoming addicted until my wife said something.
What did she say?
She said, It's just a credit score. Relax.
Are you checking your credit score?
Huh? Hold on.
If you're moving funds, if you're gifting funds, they're going to want a transaction history. It has to be signed by the bank. That means, guess what? You have to go to the bank and get it.
Gifting funds. Explain that to the viewers.
So, like, gifting funds is if you have a family member, like, let's say I'm buying a house, and you're so gracious that you want to give me $10,000 to go toward buying my house, then you're going to gift me those funds so they're sourceable to the lender.
Sourceable mean that it shows where it came from.
Mm-hmm. So all of that takes time. Like if I work a 9 to 5 and you're telling me I have to go to the bank numerous times to get transaction histories and get certified checks and get things like that, I mean, this takes time. That means you're going to have to take your lunch breaks and your time that you possibly have available, and you have to get the lender these documents, or else it could delay your closing, which could make the seller really mad. And, you know, they base everything on your closing or being able to close on the property. So a seller don't want to sit on that property for additional time just because you're not getting the paperwork to the lender.
That's right.
So it's very important that this is all having to do with being committed to the process.
If I'm buying a house and the seller has the option, if I'm not moving accordingly, and the seller has the option to pull out, right, because the buyer is not doing their part.
Well, you have dates and deadlines within the contract.
Right.
So, like your financing dates, if you're not meeting those dates, yes, the seller has every right to terminate that contract.
And if the seller terminates that contract, can you tell the viewers what happened to their money?
Lose your earnest money because that seller took the house off the market for you to be able to buy it, but you as the buyer are not holding up to your contractual end of the deal.
So what that means, if you put and before I start
and in South Carolina, per the buyer agency agreement, if you default on the contract, then you still owe the buyer agency fees as well. Wow.
Which could be equivalent to approximately how much?
3% of whatever the value of the house is.
I just want to see, I want to touch on these things because if you're on the opposite side and you like got your cell phone and you trying to just watch the YMA Nation podcast, you like, okay. And then to hear these things, like it tells you that you have to be on your job. You have to be, you have to work effectively when things are requested from you, like expedite getting those things turned in, because that's a lot of money to lose.
You can't be lazy. You can't.
That's a lot of money to lose.
You have to be committed to the buying process.
Committed to the buying process, because no one wants to put up $1,000 of earnings money and then 3% on a $200,000 home. That's an average cost out here in the upstate. I mean, that's a lot of money to lose. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was trying to do the math in my mind really quick. That's around $7,500 that you'll be responsible for.
Oh, if you default?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Times 3%.
Yep.
6,000.
Yep.
It's a lot of money.
That is.
To throw away.
And not have anything to show for it. Due
to the lack of
commitment.
Your commitment.
And that's the same if I wrote this note down as well, getting cold feet. Because I was reading something earlier, it was a post, and it was talking about buyers pulling out of contracts due to buyer remorse. And what that means is, because this market is so volatile, you're in a multiple offer situation. And so to win the offer, you have buyers going way over asking price for the property. Mm-hmm. And then a week or two in, they get buyer's remorse, meaning they are like, I really don't know if I want to pay this for this property anymore. I really don't know if I really like this property as much as I thought I liked this property. There's many things that that attribute to that. So you have people, what I see is people go under contract, but they continue to look on the market at homes that are continuously being put on the market. And so
why do you think that people still do that?
I think some people it's intriguing, like it becomes habitual.
The home search?
Yeah, the home search. So I think that they just get in the habit of looking at houses every day or looking for houses, and they want to see what else is out there. And just that in itself is like, oh, well, I just want to continue to look and see what's out there. You know? When
we put that house under contract, I mean, from the time we walked in the house, I was like, because we had seen a lot of houses. From the time we walked in the house, I was like, this is it.
Right.
And we put in that offer, and it is like your nerves, like, please don't let nobody.
just let this go through.
Just accept it. Like, what are they waiting on? How much time going by? But then you just pray on it. And like, you know what? If it's meant, it'll happen the way it's supposed to happen. But once they agreed to it, like, I didn't care what else hit the market. I knew like this was it. And then what happens if you do find something like, oh, that looks even better, but you already made a commitment and got a house under contract. If
people try to pull out and they'll risk their earnest money. I mean, you got people that, you know, and unfortunately, some agents really don't push that agent fee because, number one, they want to keep that buyer and try to help them find something else.
Right.
But technically in the contract, you're due that for that service, for that property, for that contract. Now, if they still want to continue to look, that's fine.
Right.
But you did your job for that contract. You wrote up a contract. That brokerage is owed that commission.
So if you pull out of the deal.
And that's in South Carolina. I don't know what the agency agreements look like for other states. So
right.
I just want to make that clear.
Right. So in the state of South Carolina, if I put a house under contract and then 4 days later I see a house and I'm like, oh no, I want that house, and it's around the same price, and I get more square feet on the house, if I pull out, I'm responsible for, because some people may say that, you know what, I will lose that $1,000, but I will gain this in the property, more square footage for the same amount. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box. Like, why would someone think like that? Because I try to look at both sides of the spectrum.
And I think some of it's just cold feet. I think some of it is a big commitment.
It's a big purchase.
Right. And so people get into everything and they're like, oh my God, I'm really about to buy a house. Do I really want to buy a house? Am I ready to buy a house?
Right.
You know, they think they're ready. And that goes back to what we were talking about. Like, you see your friends and your cousin and everybody posting, oh, I just bought a house yesterday, and my best friend bought a house last week, and you know, I've been thinking about buying a house. Let's just get started. And then the process can move so quickly sometimes. Before they know it, they're under contract. And then once you get under contract and you're not like really actively looking and you're having time to sit and kind of think about it, or if you put an offer in on a property and then let's say they call highest and best for like 2 days later. And so you've put your offer in, but you have like 2 days to think about it. I had a client pull out of a contract that way, pull out of a offer. They weren't on a contract yet. They pulled out of the offer because they had too long to think about it. And they're like, well, after thinking about it, we really don't want this house.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, I mean, it could be a number of things, but you really have to be committed to the process.
Yeah. I don't foresee me putting in an offer on the house unless I know I want that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, I want this house.
Want
I'm
that
putting
house.
an offer.
Yeah.
I'm not just like, oh, this house is all right. Oh, yeah, let's put an offer
Well,
in.
you have to think, if the market was very different when we bought, right? So if you think about that now, and it's a whole lot harder to find everything you want in a house. So you're trying to weigh between, if I don't get this house, it's not getting any better, or it could get better, but it's just a strenuous process. And if all of the houses have multiple offer situations on them, then I might as well try so that I can get something, right? If I'm in a position to where I could get something, it's better than continuing the search and possibly getting nothing until, later.
Right.
Especially if people are on a timeline.
Right.
If their lease is up in 30 or 60 days, they don't have time to, look at this one. They got to go.
They got to go.
So, look, he just cut the music off on me, guys. That was it.
That was it anyway.
We'll get to the seller side next week. We'll get to the seller side.
Okay. And that's talking about what?
The sellers being committed to selling, because also in that post it talked about sellers pulling their houses off of the market. So I want to talk about the seller side too.
Both sides.
Both sides.
I love seeing both sides.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for YMA Nation Podcast, episode number 75.
75.
And we have Sports Talk Friday coming up.
Sports Talk Friday.
Yep, and on it we will be doing a drawing. We will be doing a drawing.
Are y'all ready for some money? Cash
and prizes. Make sure you like.
Y'all not ready.
And hashtag YMA Nation down into the comment section, and make sure you hashtag Let's Go in the comment section.
Let's go.
It's 2021. Stop sitting around. It's time to move. Let's go.
Let's go.
We'll see you guys then.
YMA, Young Millionaires Association. Yeah, see, that's the association.